Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Reverend Barry from the Badass Band Leader page. And on this video tonight, I wanted to tell you, I call it the crazy true story of the greediest, dumbest bar owner that I ever had to deal with as a band leader. And now, the reason I wanted to tell the story, for one, it's kind of funny, it's ridiculous, and you might be able to relate to it. But what it also does is it proves, I mean, I know not all bar owners are the same, but a lot of them are like this, or at least they have this mentality. And so it's this cheap mentality of being just like, to where you just have to do something else in order to make money for your band. If you're not familiar with me, I'm Reverend Barry. That's my stage name. I'm a leader of a band called Reverend Barry and the Funk out of Florida. And what we're all about is, in the last few years, we've kind of taken it upon ourselves to do our own shows. I'm going to take my glasses off. Do our own shows, and we've been able to make anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500 plus doing our own shows at really just bars, not necessarily on special holidays or anything like that, but actually just on regular nights doing ticketed events. So if you want to learn how we do that, I've got a class that I set up, a video. It's just, you can just go there and watch it. You don't have to opt in or anything. That's at revclass.com. That's REV as in Victor, class.com. So go check that out if you want to learn how we've been able to do that. Anyway, so back to the dumbest, greediest, however I titled that, the dumbest, greediest bar owner that I've ever had to deal with. So our band's been around for about 6.5 years. And in the first year that we were together, so we're an 8-piece band. We've got a 3-piece horn section. And so needless to say, we got a lot of people in the band. We got a lot of mouths to feed. And, but so it was kind of a crazy concept when we started it, but we were going to we were going to do a lot of funk and disco and Motown and soul music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. That was the idea. And it was going to be a dance band. And that's pretty much what we've been known as. And so in the first year we got together, of course, we're looking for gigs. And, we played a fair amount of like disco and stuff like that. And so I was looking for places to play. And there was this venue close by. I'm not going to name the name of the venue, obviously, or the name of the guy. But there was two of them. There were partners that ran this place. And, and I came in and I said, well, why don't you give us a shot, and we'll do a Thursday night once a month, the first Thursday of the month, and we'll do like a theme night, like a disco night, right? And we got a lot of older population here in where we're from, and so I felt like it would be a pretty good thing for it to go over, and we started getting huge crowds at this thing, even as an unknown band. We had like these posters and stuff we put up in this club, and then after we'd done it for about 5, 6, 7 months, people are chiming in. Oh, my beautiful wife is watching. So after we'd been doing it for a number of months, we started getting, I don't know, it was like 200-300 people in there, and the place was packed, and but they were charging $5 cover to get in. This is on a Thursday night. And so, one of the bar owners, he loved it, man. He would bring his wife, and they would dress up in like their disco outfits and all that kind of stuff. He was having a great time with it. And then I noticed that the other bar owner never showed up. I never even met the guy. So the thing is, we were an 8-piece band, but it was hard for us to get our entire band on the stage, because we actually had, so we actually moved it to 7 pieces. And it was kind of awkward. So one of my band members couldn't actually come to that gig. And so at the end of a year, I went back to them and I said, hey man, I'd really like to get my 8th member to come on. I was just trying to get an extra $100. So I asked for, and at the time, I think they were paying us $700. Of course, they were paying us the standard $100 per man thing. And so I just said, yeah, if we could just get 800, so I could have my other guy in there, so we could have the full sound of the band, right? And keep in mind that the guy that was the bar owner who loved the band, he told me this, that we drew better than most bands that they ever had there on weekends. And so it was really a great thing. They were selling a lot of booze and all that kind of stuff on a Thursday night. So when I went to them and asked for another $100, I had to go to the other bartender or bar owner who I'd never talked to at that point. And this guy, I mean, he was polite about it, but he was basically like, no, we're not going to do that. And I thought to myself, hold on. So this guy's basically, because I really felt it was extremely important for us to do it. And we were starting to gain a lot of popularity on weekends at other venues. And this guy just didn't want to do it. And I basically was like, well, I guess we won't be playing there anymore. And he was kind of like, well, I guess not. I mean, it made no big deal of it. And so that once a month they were doing that, making all sorts of money. Because they were paying for the band easily with the cover charge. They would have paid for the $800 for the band with the cover charge easily. But he was willing to let that money just walk out the door. And I still, to this day, cannot figure out why, other than I think the principle is that he felt it's like he didn't want some band leader guy telling him what to do or demanding more money from him or something. Like he had it in his head that bands shouldn't get paid $800 on a Thursday night or whatever. So they lost all that income. And I knew what would happen. Of course, a couple years later, I get a call from the guy. Our band at that point had gotten really popular, and he was like, hey, would you guys look at coming back to your venue? And I was polite, and I was like, that's really just not something I think that we're going to do. Because at the time we had a bunch of other venues around the area that we were going to do, and I knew he would come back to me. And, he even wanted to talk about, well, maybe you could play some outdoor events or something for us, that kind of thing. And so he started kind of sucking up to us once we had the following and the name, and people kept asking them, I'm sure, when are you guys going to have Reverend Barry and the Funk come back? So the moral of the story is, and why this matters so much. Again, I know that there's bar owners out there who, are cool people that pay their bands well. Not a lot of them that I've heard of or I've ever dealt with. But, there are some guys out there that out of some kind of weird principle, they just can't bring themselves to pay bands a reasonable amount of money, even though they're making a ton of money and it's obvious to everyone. And, they would rather just end the whole thing, or this guy would just rather end the whole thing than to pay us a little bit more. So I've always just been amazed by that story. But what it tells you is that, again, if you're trying to get club owners to pay you more money for your band, and you think that like maybe you're just kind of struggling right now, and you think that maybe eventually once you start do this for 2-3 years and you build up a big following, that you're going to get paid the big bucks, I'm here to tell you that's probably not going to happen. The thing that you need to do instead, or what we've done, is we've ended up just taking control of the situation. So we have built up a massive list. I look at the bars now as just being a place where we can build our clientele. We can build our list. We build an email list, our Facebook following, our Instagram following, and then we turn around and we sell tickets to those people to come to our shows. And it's worked out incredibly well. We don't always get paid huge money, but some shows that we do, we can make anywhere from $2,500 to over $4,500 selling tickets actually at bars. In fact, I had a situation this week, and this is kind of crazy, where we have a ticketed show coming up here in just a couple weeks. So the bar owner called me because we're selling tickets to that show. He had a corporate event, or like a company call him and wanted 80 seats to our show at his venue. He called me to ask me if he could buy 80 tickets from me to his venue for our show. He basically is buying me out. I know that sounds insane. That doesn't happen. That literally happened for the very first time yesterday. But if you can see where the tables have turned, I mean, it's crazy. So again, I describe how we do this stuff. Go to revclass.com. It's REV as in Victor, class.com. And I just spell out what all we're doing, how we do the marketing, kind of how the whole thing works. And I think you'll really get a lot of it out of it. And I just want to see your band make the kind of money that you're really worth, and stop seeing bands struggle so much to deal with people like the crazy bar owner that I was talking about earlier. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below. And again, go to revclass.com and check it out. Thanks.